Hello and welcome to round number one of the Japanese Super GT. Thank you very much for being so patient with us. We are just running through a bit of technical issues just at the last second. Just had some issues joining the server, but thankfully we've managed to sort that out and we are live here for the first round of the Japanese Super GT League with the Go Race promotion Simsports. Big thank you to everyone currently in chat for following, and a big thank you to Routers ID and David1655 for the recent follows. It is much appreciated, guys. All those follows really do help the channel. Let's have a look at some action on track. Currently at the top of the timesheets, it's this man here. It's Matt Southwell in the GT3 Bentley. And although he just got eclipsed by Chris Raffalo in the first of the GT500s. What a beast this car is. It is the Boatley, the original Boatley as well. That is a glorious sounding car, and it looks so good on in a Assetto Corsa. Come on, guys in chat, let us know what you think. It's Bentley time, it's Boatley time. It is one of the only Bentleys on the grid at the moment. Plenty of time for everyone to join in. I believe we have got 11 spaces left in this season of Super GT. But well, I haven't actually had a chance to have a look at some of the onboards with this car. Oh, that's a pretty cool one. But let's ride on board with Matt Southwell. So he gets the car slowed down for this tight little right, left, right. And Matt Southwell, he is currently silver ranked in the Go Race promotion Simsports GT3 League. That just means he is a driver probably too good to be an AM, but not good enough to be a pro. Usually it's for drivers who just don't have the time or the energy to put in to do all the testing. So Southwell ticks off another lap. This could be an improvement. And indeed it is a 41.6. Now I managed to get down to a 40.8, I believe it was, in the Nissan GTR as Southie gets a little bit sideways through turn number one. In fact, I'm just going to do some quick. Forgot to do this, meant to do this a little bit earlier. Need to change the colours. And needs to be class, that's a lot better. Right, now we can get rid of AC config. Let's bring up Stereo Carcel, because we've got a few drivers in the server at the moment. And this is Meredith in the all carbon look Nissan GTR GT500. And these things are weapons as Meredith gets it wrong coming out of the final corner to start that lap. We also have another few cars on track. So here we go. So Ben McKenzie in the number 111 Calsonic GT500. He gets out of the way of Southwell's Bentley. Whoa, and a big dive bomb. I think maybe a little bit of connection issue there for Ben. He has collected Southwell, unfortunately. But nonetheless, I think both drivers will be discussing that over the Discord. Waiting to see someone else on track. So here we go. Meredith back on track. Now, few things to note in this championship. There are no tyre warmers. So these guys come out of the pits on stone cold tyres, just like the real Super GT series. And we've also restricted everyone to the soft compound tyre just to try and help those who don't have the time to do testing on the 3 or 4 different tyre compounds. They overheat so fast, mate. Try increasing the pressures. That usually does help dissipate the heat in Assetto Corsa. That's what I've found in my testing anyway. Up the pressures. We're just going to leave you with some onboard footage from Meredith while we're trying to help our official join the server. Thankfully, we have got Vladimir Madreski, our current reigning GT3 champion, giving some sound advice. These cars really do pick up and pitch on the throttle. You have to be really gentle. That's something that I found as well. You just have to be so smooth on the throttle. As Meredith runs a little bit wide again. Oh, bit of a slide, just to hang on to it. Still, unfortunately, suffering a few little technical difficulties with for our race director. Oh, Meredith gets it sideways out of the chicane. Like we said, have to be so gentle on that throttle. Gets it very wide. He's currently under pressure from Dietmar Rath in the Honda there. In fact, we're going to quickly swap over to him. Oh, we'll call him Alfonso tonight. But it is Dietmar Rath. We just watched him last night in the AK Gaming British Touring Car Championship. Put in some awesome races alongside Chris Rafalo, who is also in the server and currently top of the timesheets. That's right on board with Alfonso for a lap of the Fuji Speedway in the Honda. So he's up to 5th gear, just topping over 220 k's per hour, gets it onto the curb, and then this super long right-hander that just goes forever. Meredith is keeping touch with him, although he gets it a little bit wrong on the second apex. Down to 3rd gear for that tight little left-hander, sorry, getting my lefts and rights mixed up. Runs it a little bit wide, very easy to do there. So that'll be a track cut. This lap will not count. Oh, I think he got a little bit of a bump there from Meredith. Once again, very easy to do in these Super GT cars. They do just light up and fire off the corners. As well, we see a Porsche around that looked like the GT3 silver entry of Justin Rediex. Hope I pronounced that name right. But we've seen Justin in our GT3 league, and he's done rather well. He's swapped the Ferrari, though, for the Porsche. Very, very interesting swap. But nonetheless, he is on track. Just noticed something. I just want to see. Yep, he's no Punterino on the back of that Porsche. I don't know who that's aimed at, whether that's aimed at his GT3 compatriots or the GT500 guys, but nonetheless, no Punterino, please, for Mr. Ready X. As he tips into turn one, he's got Matt Southwell just ahead of him. So we're still waiting on a few drivers to enter the server, including our official. Hopefully he does make it in on time. He's got 31 minutes left in this practice session. We're going to have another look at another one of our entries, and that is this man right here. If I can remember which button I'm trying to find. It is Declan Austin in the number 41 Audi R8. Magnificently prepared Audi R8. I'm trying to remember which team it is. But he's managed to change the number, thanks to his good mate. Good mate Justin Rediex. As we see just behind, we have the first of our pro drivers in GT3, and that is Steve Duro, currently in the wrong livery for some reason. I think we've made a slight little mistake there for Steve. Nonetheless, he is in the server. I'm sure he can drive around it. So, well, times are starting to come in for practice, as, well, we can see Chris Rafalo and Alfonso on top, separated by 0.096 of a second. How much tighter do you want it? So we've got Rafalo here in a magnificent looking number 20 Pennzoil GTR. I'd say Chris has just exited the pits, and he'll be on stone cold tyres. Having a quick flick through some of our onboard cameras here tonight. As for some reason, AC TV has not saved that. Well, we'll remember which drivers are in which class. I'm sure I can do that. Now, of course, Chris Rafalo, he did a fantastic job in the GT3 League. Almost stole a podium from, well, almost stole the show, really, running the Corvette. Absolute league of his own in the latter half of the league. And he'll be looking at stamping his authority on this league as well. As Rafalo now to the top of the timesheets, he puts 3 tenths between himself and Alfonso. Gets it wrong coming out of turn number 1 though. That's not a bad camera. I quite like that one. And meanwhile, currently on top of GT3, it's still Matt Southwell in the big Boatley. Get a bit of a hell yeah in chat for the Boatley. Particularly this livery. Let's jump back on board with Matt Southwell in the big Bentley. Oh, unfortunately, that's the best. That's the best onboard camera we have for the Bentley. In fact, we're going to get a really good sense of the difference in speed between these GT3s and GT500s. So obviously we know that there is 10 seconds between the fastest GT500 and the fastest GT3 at the moment. As well, actually Matt Southwell gets it to just under 10 seconds. But he's got Chris Ruffalo catching him at a rate of knots in the GT500 GTR. As GT500's great under brakes, great in the mid-corner, and great on acceleration. Well, there you go. So there's, if you ever want to know the difference between GT3 and GT500, there it is, illustrated right there. And there he goes. So Ruffalo, he's just absolutely disappeared up the road. And oh, Ruffalo sliding it around that, around the hairpin, or around the chicane there. Runs a different line to a lot of other drivers through that tightening. In fact, let's go have a look at the profile of that particular corner as soon as I find it. So this is a prime passing opportunity for, well, for any part of the race, for whether you're in GT3 or GT500, whether you're lapping, whether you're battling for position. So very easy just to go for a bit of a dive bomb, bit of a lunge, and get the move done. And then you have a chance to, well, you're essentially forced to defend, and that leaves you exposed to a run down the straight. Let's have another quick look. And another passing opportunity. Big dive bomb there. You can do that there. Down the main straight into turn number one. Obviously a good passing opportunity for most, if not all, drivers. So I'm going to currently focus on Justin Rediex. Just bear with us, folks. We're still trying to help our official get into the server. And we'll be right back. So as we're still trying to sort out some of the problems for our race director, we're riding on board with Steve Duro in the magnificent looking Dodge SRT GT3. So Steve is currently one of 2 pros in our GT3 league. The other pro, unfortunately, Ryan Ford, is not going to be present tonight. There's still plenty of room for people to join in and give Steve a run for his money. Gets a little bit of oversteer coming out of that little left-hander. I want to say that's turn 6? No, that can't be turn 6. Turn 4. God, can't count. Currently, Steve has not set a time. He's just probably running into a little bit of trouble with the track limits. Very easy to just trip them. So hopefully we have a race director coming in soon, so we can focus on the good part of running the show of Super GT. Well, let's run you through what we have tonight, as Duro goes 3rd in GT3, so he's got a little bit of time to make up on Matt Southwell, currently on top in that Bentley, or the Boatley. So good to see that the Silvers are taking it up to our resident pro. Of course, Steve Duro ran 2nd. Sorry, I lie. He finished 3rd in our GT3 league, which wrapped up earlier this year. So, well, it's great to see that Southwell is taking the fight up to a man who did a really good job. In fact, the times in GT3 really tight up and down the field. Continue focusing on this magnificent Viper. Unfortunately, we've given Steve the wrong livery. I don't know how we've managed to do that. He was supposed to be running an all-red Viper with the number 9 on the side of it. So we'll hopefully get that sorted out for round number 2. Let's have a quick look around the rest of our GT3 League drivers. Oh, Declan Austin running very wide. He's going to have to get his pass. Oh, no, that's a little bit sneaky. That's very sneaky. So Declan going for a bit of top speed down the front straight. As we jump on board with Declan. So this Audi is actually a port from the Assetto Corsa Competizione. It actually goes pretty well in Assetto Corsa. Great to see GT3 so close. I think we're seeing a big gap between our GT500 drivers. Alfonso is 1.3 seconds off the pace, but we still haven't seen a time from Meredith or Mackenzie. We're also waiting for Vanderham to make an appearance in the server. I do think that Meredith and Mackenzie have been having a bit of bad time with that with the track limits around this circuit. Well, Austin looking pretty comfortable in the Audi, it has to be said. Misses the apex slightly on the final corner, but gets some pretty good drive out of the final corner. As our drivers, they're running out of practice time. Got about a minute 15 before we move our way into the drivers' briefing. So as we end practice right now, okay, so we're wrapping up practice now. As we see a couple of, well, we saw a late time in from Jack Meredith. We're still sorting out some technical issues. But nonetheless, we have got, how many have we got? We got at least 7 in the server. Well, 7 set a time in that practice session. And then we're going to move off into qualifying, which will be a split session. So GT500 will be first on track, followed by GT3. And then we're going to move into a 175 kilometre race. So that's 38 laps around this Fuji Speedway with a rolling start. And a mandatory pit stop after the first racing lap. And then they have until the white flag goes out for the final lap to make their mandatory pit stop. So who is going to be on top? Let's keep Stereo Carousel on for now as we have a look through the results of our practice session, as we're still waiting on a few drivers to make their appearance. Still waiting on Riley Smith and Van der Hum to make his appearance. Unfortunately, Ryan Ford, a no-show tonight. But nonetheless, I'm sure more people after tonight will be willing to give the GT500 a go. So let's run through the final order for practice. As few cars go out on track just to do one final few laps with 7 minutes to go, as driver's briefing, I'm sure, is running at the moment. As we'll just quickly check in on the... So, unfortunately, we still have a few drivers to get into voice chat. Let's just send a quick... So, just seen that our steward has, well, he's unable to join the server himself. So he's actually just swapping between... As our steward is now in the voice chat to give our drivers their driver's briefing. But let's have a look at the results from practice. So Chris Rafalo on top by a massive margin over Dietmar Rath in the Honda. 1.3 seconds between Rafalo and Alfonso. Jack Meredith coming home in third. A little bit off the pace of Alfonso in the second of the GTRs. They were 337 GT 500. And Ben McKenzie in the final of the GT 500s. A little bit off the pace, but he will pick up the pace by the end of the night. Maybe dump some sand out of that car for qualifying. Then we move into GT3s, and Steve Duro finally gets ahead of Declan Austin, who is first of the silver competitors. Then Matt Southwell and Justin Rediex will round out the running order, as I don't think we have got Riley Smith or Vanderham in the server just yet. Hopefully they'll turn up in the next 4 minutes. Otherwise they are going to be, well, rear field of our GT 500 field. In fact, well, no, that's right. We are trying to separate the two classes just because of the speed difference and acceleration difference of the GT 500s versus the GT3s. In fact, we're just going to send a quick message over the game chat. Voice chat. It's really good typing from me. I have fat fingers, so that's my excuse. Fat and short. But anyway, we are getting set for the start of this race. So 38 laps of racing. That first lap is going to be the formation lap. We do a manual rolling start, which is controlled by our official, who is currently in the race channel. And I do believe he is still giving that driver's briefing. So while we count down the final few seconds of the driver's briefing, drivers just turning up in the last few seconds of driver's briefing. I'm sure they will get a big slap on the wrist from our stewards. Can't be doing that. Steward does not like playing those games. Well, we're going to take a quick look around this magnificent looking model of the Fuji Speedway circuit. Let's get rid of that for now. It's really good to see Super GT in real life back in action a few months ago at this very venue. Of course, the next round is going to be a little bit different. Albert Park, right here in Australia, and that's just to try and fulfill my own fantasy of seeing GT 500s and, well, the Japanese Super GTs here in Australia. Who'd love to see them at Bathurst? That'd be something to see. That'd be very interesting to see how the GT 500s handle the traffic at the top of the mountain. Oh my God. Going neon here. Oh no. What have I done? There we go. Got the track back. Oh, still loving it. Okay, as we count down to the start of qualifying. This man on top in the number 20 Pennzoil GTR, just ahead of the 111 there of Ben McKenzie. Magnificent looking liveries, I have to say. And here we go, Alfonso. That is not the livery he is going to be competing with the for the rest of the season. He does have a proper livery coming. He just ran out of time, unfortunately, and well, he's had to run in just one of the stock liveries. And of course, we have Jack Meredith in the 337. That's sometimes simple looks good, and he was saying in the Discord voice chat that the car looks really nice in just simple carbon fibre, and I have to agree with him. And of course, we have Matt Southwell taking it ever so seriously, having proper sponsors. But well, we approved it at the end of the day, so he gets away with it. So Hooters makes you happy, yes. The bars do make us happy. Okay, then we have Justin Rediex in the JR Porsche. Looks pretty good. It's great to see the field with some really good liveries this year. And then, of course, we have a few pretty much standard liveries with some changed numbers, except for Steve Duro. Unfortunately, we've stuffed him up. So hopefully we get on top of that for round number 2 at Albert Park as we get set for a start to qualifying. So as we get set for a start to qualifying. In fact, I'm just going to turn my phone on silent because that is really loud, really distracting. But, let's get some predictions happening in chat. Who is going to put it on pole position for the GT 500s? Who will put it on pole position for the GT3s? Get those predictions happening in chat. I love seeing it. Okay, so let's get the start of qualifying happening. So we have, well, Chris Ruffalo, as ever, in typical Ruffalo fashion, lighting it up out of the pit lane, and he is getting on with the job nice and early. Let's quickly swap to him. So it is GT 500 first out of the gates for 10 minutes of qualifying around this fantastic Fuji Speedway. Now we got some predictions from Ben McKenzie, currently racing Ben, I'm a little bit disappointed that you didn't pick yourself. You should have picked yourself, mate. Where's the confidence? He can't hear me because he's on track. So as Rafale gets it, takes a very interesting line through the bus stop chicane. He's got Alfonso just behind him in the Honda. So, Farlow, that car twitching around a lot under the power. Oof, again, big twitches. We're going to jump on board with him and just see what's going on. Maybe those tyres just not up to pressure just yet. As we're keeping an eye on that top speed down the straight, up to 301 kilometres, 310. Oh, it's all over the place a little bit there. But he backs it down to about 60 kilometres per hour. A little bit of oversteer, fires the Nissan out of the turn number 1. Gets it pulled up for that quick little right-hander. It's very difficult to get that corner right. I was having all sorts of dramas in a GT3 GTR trying to make that apex. But Rafale is just showing us how it's done. Oh, gets it onto the grass. He manages to hang onto it somehow. So Rafale pushing the absolute limit of that car. He backs it off into the bus stop chicane. And he's on the absolute ragged edge with this GTR. Oh, sideways again under power. This has not been a tidy lap for Rafale. It'll still put him at the top of the leaderboard, but we'll have to wait and see what Alfonso can do just behind him. So here comes Chris Rafale to set the benchmark time. And it's did not register for ACTV. So hopefully he managed to set a time anyway. In fact, no one's really set a time yet. Oh, Rafale sideways again. And Meredith back into the pit lane. Obviously he's binned it somewhere. Here comes Mackenzie now. Gets it pulled up for the bus stop. It's looking a lot smoother than what Rafale's lap was. May not look quick or flashy, but sometimes smooth, well, always smooth is quick. Oh, there's a few stabs at the throttle, gets it right out over the exit curb. Very tight entry. I'll see what Mackenzie can do, unless he's run wide earlier in the lap. So he has not set a lap time, so no one has set a lap time just yet. I have a feeling that maybe we'll get rid of that and see what happens. Maybe. I don't know. So here we go. First time on the board. Chris Rafale with 29.9. And he's going to be chased down by Alfonso. No, he sets the second fastest lap of the race. Oh, second fastest lap of the session. 5 minutes left to go for our GT 500s. But Alfonso has got 1.5 seconds to make up. We'll wait and see where Mackenzie ends up. No, he's binned it on this lap. Here comes Meredith. He's going to start his lap now. Oh, bit of warpage there for Meredith. As Rafale pulls up just to give Meredith a bit of a chance to get around him. Oh, Meredith gets it onto the curb and he fires it off stage right. And puts it into the fence. That was a very long bin. So 4 minutes left to go for our GT 500 drivers. Some drivers just struggling to get the...
Hey, mate.
Can we talk in here, or?
So,
Probably best not to. I'll come into your channel, mate.
So... Unfortunately, we just have a few drivers jumping into our Discord stream. Unfortunately for our steward, not being able to join, he has to watch the race from our Discord. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Oh, the joys of running a league. As we continue to follow Ben McKenzie. Jump on board now with the Calsonic GTR, the 111. Ooh, big slide. He's managed to hold it together. Don't know how much time he would have lost with that slide. He runs it in deep. Again, takes a very shallow line on the entry to the final corner. That works for you. Just keep going with it. Set a 1:35.1, so he's not too far off of Alfonso's time, actually. As we wait and see what McKenzie can do as he crosses the line. It's a 1:34.1, so he's getting better with each lap. Let's swap over to Meredith. So he's just about to cross the line. That was his outlap, unfortunately. So we'll stick with Meredith, as he's got 2 minutes to put in the lap of his life to get onto hopefully the front row for GT 500. See if he can do it. Gets the apex nicely. Now through this super long right-hander. Gets the first apex nicely. Has to have a couple of stabs at the throttle there, so a little bit of understeer. Just keeps the car on track. Runs a little bit deep into the bus stop. He's got Alfonso just coming up behind him. Runs it way too deep. He might get time for one more lap. Well, he will get one more lap, actually. Oh, not like that, though. Puts it into the fence. He won't have time to go back to the pits and get around for one more lap with repairs. Oh, no, it's going all wrong for Meredith. Might have to start at the back of the GT 500s. Just has to relax. Just refocus, mate. You've got 30 seconds to make it across the line. You can do it. Commentator cheering for our for some of our competitors. So we'll wait and see if Meredith causes an issue for... No, it looks like Mackenzie's backed off. Again, Meredith gets a good line. Whether or not he can string these good laps together in the 38-lap race. Because these cars are very difficult to drive. If you've ever driven the DTM mod, they're a bit like that. Very, very touchy on the throttle. Have to be so smooth and precise with every little input you make. Both Mackenzie and Meredith go a little bit too deep into the bus stop. Oh, Meredith deep into the first tightening sweeper. As time has now expired for our GT500s, which means our GT3 cars will be on track now. Looks like Meredith may have strung together a decent lap. Wait and see what he can do. He will stop the clock. He doesn't show up on our... Oh, he gets a 33.2. So that'll put him pretty close to the front of our GT500 field. As we now look at our GT3 cars on track now. As wrong silver driver, there we go. So it's Declan Austin who'll lead the way. The Go Race debutant. He's got Steve Duro just behind him in that menacing Viper. Jump on board with Declan now. Tips it through turn number 2 nicely. Has to have a few stabs at the throttle just to get it around turn number 3, sorry. Oh, big slide on the exit. Big slide, he just grabbed a little bit too much of that curb. Oh, pardon me. Got a little bit of warpage there for Declan. Oh, nice line there for Austin. Fires the Audi down the main straight. He's going to set the opening time for GT3. It's going to be a 1:40. Oh, it doesn't register on ACTV. I wonder if I've turned that on. So there we go. So Justin Reddick's currently sitting up the top. We'll quickly just double check. 1:41.5. And we're going to have a look at Reddick's at 1:40.7. So Reddick's at the top of GT3 for the time being. Porsche working well for Reddick's at the moment. Then we have Duro just... Looks like he's just struggling a little bit with the Viper. And we have, of course, Matt Southwell. He's currently, I would say, second looking at that time, or third. And the big old Bentley. Quickly swap back to Declan. Looks like he's just getting into a rhythm now. Chipping up, setting up those laps. And he will go second in GT3. Wait for Steve Duro to cross the line. He improves. It's still very tight at the top for GT3. Field separated by 4/10. So we still wait for Matt Southwell and the big Bentley to cross the line. Here he comes across the line. What does he stop the clock at? He goes to the top with a 140.4. So Matt Southwell, the silver ranked driver, he's sitting at the top of the GT3 field. And who would have seen this coming? Steve Dura at the bottom for now. Of course, 4 minutes left in this session. As you see, Southwell slap that curb. We refocus on Steve Dura. What has he got left in the tank? Has he got anything left in the tank? As we have some very interesting camera angles for our Viper. Those aren't very good. We'll just stick to this view here. Now, oh no, Declan Austin, he's off in front of Duro. Oh, big slide for Duro. Have a listen to this thing roar down the front straight. What can Duro do? It looks like it's an improvement. As he approaches the control line, it's going to be a 140.3, so Duro straight to the top. Less than just over a tenth between himself and Southwell. ReadyX unable to improve that lap. We wait for Southwell now. This is looking like an improvement for Southwell as well. No, not quite. So he stays second. Southwell really liking the Bentley. It's telling me that the car just feels so smooth and easy to drive. Have a look at the times between our GT3 drivers. That is a great spread. Southwell runs wide into turn number 4. So that's the end of that lap. He'll have to reset just quick enough to get around for one more lap. Keep an eye on Steve Duro. He's just getting faster. Oh, he runs wide. Of course, ReadyX, what can he do? Oh, gets the big slide with the Porsche. Have a listen to the flat 6 screaming. Can ReadyX improve? He does improve. He goes onto the front row, knocks Southwell off. So ReadyX line at the moment lines up beside Steve Duro in GT3. This will be crucial for that start. Oh, ReadyX with a big tank slap. So Austin now, he's got 40 seconds. He's just gone into the pits and had brand new tyres fitted. I would assume he has anyway. No, he put it into the fence pretty hard. ReadyX is done. Won't get around for one more lap, but Declan, he'll get one more lap in. And there is improvement there in this Audi. Oh no, he's binned it! Oh, that is a huge bin for Declan Austin. So not the way he wanted his qualifying session to end. We'll see Steve Jury rounds the final corner. This will be for the checkered flag. So how's that for a lineup in GT3? The top 3 separated by less than 0.2 of a second. In fact, Juro's going to abort the lap. So that brings an end to our qualifying session. Let's have a look at how they finished up. So Chris Ruffalo, he tops the timesheets in GT500 and overall. Lining up beside him on the front row will be Alfonso in the Honda HSV. We then have Jack Meredith and Ben McKenzie bringing up row number 2 of GT 500. Hopefully in the next 2 minutes we get Riley Smith and Vanderham to turn up into the server just in time to take part in this race and have a nice, decent field of GT 500s. Nonetheless, that is your GT 500 field. And we move on to GT3. Steve Duro and Justin Rediex will start off the front row. Nothing in it between those two. 0.056 between Rediex and Duro. Then we have a further, what's that? 0.09 between Rediex and Southwell, who'll bring up row number 2. Next to Southwell will be Declan Austin. So that GT3 battle will be very, very tight. I had a few drivers concerned that the Audi was on medium tyres. I think we might leave the Audi on medium tyres because those times are still very, very close to each other. But of course, this championship, we are running success ballast. So I believe it's 1 kilo for every point you win. And the weight stays on for 3 rounds, making it, making the maximum ballast 75 kilos for each of these cars. As we now get set for a start to the race. So, with qualifying out of the way, we can get set for a start for this race. Let's get some more predictions in chat. What do you reckon? Who's going to take out the first round of Super GT? Was it going to be Chris Ruffalo in GT 500? Is it going to be Alfonso? Can just never know with what Alfonso can do. And, of course, Meredith and McKenzie can always find something in the break between qualifying and the race. Let's get rid of that for a second as we race up to our start gantry and have a look at our GT 500 field. Plenty of room in our server if you want to get involved. We have capped our entries at 24. So make sure you get in nice and early. In fact, let's send you a. Let's put a link to our Discord in the chat. Hopefully this works. There you go. So if you want to get involved with Super GT with Go Race Promotions, make sure you get onto our Discord and put in your entry as our drivers start to make their way around. Unfortunately, we have lost the Bentley of Matt Southwell. What is going on there? So Southwell, I think he forgot to hit drive. So he'll be able to rejoin the race and take up his position. Of course, we are doing a manual rolling start. This is your pole sitter, Chris Ruffalo. Once again, 175 Ks of racing. No tyre warmers. So these guys have to be mindful when they come out of the pits not to immediately loop it. And they're going to spend all this formation lap really making sure that they get as much heat as humanly possible into their tyres. Then of course we have to switch back to our leader of GT3, which is Steve Duro. Because we're used to seeing Steve in a Mercedes, so this is very new. And of course he's been kept honest by our 3 silver drivers of Justin Rediex, Matt Southwell and Declan Austin. Fortunately, Declan Austin almost bidding it on the formation lap. So it's great to see that GT3 is so competitive. And as we said, plenty of room for you to jump in and get involved with this fantastic looking series. So as we get set for a start, our drivers will be told to jump into formation right now. I imagine very, very soon. So expect to see these guys get into 2x2 formation. are set for a start. Looks like our GT3 drivers wanted a bit of a gap. So we are set for a start. Get those predictions happening. Get that beer ready. As they're closing right up together. In fact, we're going to have to just move into a much better camera angle, I reckon, for this. As we get set for a start. Very, very soon. The starters holding them for a long time. Now we are away and racing. The two Nissans of Mackenzie and Meredith go side by side. They split apart as we look back at the start for GT3. And it's a great start for Declan Austin off the second row. In fact, GT3 4 wide already down the main straight. Fortunately, a little bit useless with this free camera. Out in front of GT500, Rafalo and Alfonso managed to hold on. Let's have a look at the start of GT3. Declan Austin, he manages to slide from last to first. So Declan Austin, a great start in GT3. Let's swap back to a camera. At the very front, Rafalo. Oh, Alfonso being pressured at the moment by Jack Meredith in the all-black Nissan GTR. We had the right camera angle straight away as we're looking at the back of Alfonso as we make our way to the bus stop. Here comes Meredith up. Big send, had to pull out of it, just not close enough this time by. In fact, Alfonso is managing to keep Rafalo honest at the front in the number 20 GTR. Big slide from Rafalo. Got to be careful of those tyres. So we're going to quickly swap back to our GT3 field as they make their way through the bus stop chicanes. Southroll has managed to displace Duro, so Duro's not having a great opening lap. Maybe Duro thinking about tyre life in this long race of 175 kilometres. Oh, Duro, big slide on the power. He's now going to be under pressure from Justin Rediex. Oh, big slide. Someone spun. So Duro is now back out in front. I think that might have been Declan Austin who had a spin, and Southwell had nowhere to go. He's now looking up the inside of Justin Rediex on the exit of the final corner. The Bentley should have the straight line speed. In fact, he does. He's just starting to gap the Porsche. In fact, Declan looking like he's going into the pits. This is a very early stop for Declan. As our GT500 field starts to spread apart. This battle starting nice and early between Rediex and Southwell. And in fact, these guys, even though they're fighting, they haven't lost touch with Steve Duro just yet. In fact, the gap is just starting to come down between Southwell and Duro. Out in front, Rafalo is just starting to stretch the legs of that number 20 GTR. Oh, geez, he runs wide. As he's about to complete his third racing lap. He's not really stretching away from Alfonso, actually, but these two have just gapped Meredith and Mackenzie. Mackenzie's dropping 6 seconds behind Meredith at the moment. We jump on board the roof of Alfonso's Honda. Can't wait to see what Chris Rafalo is making up for Alfonso for his own livery. So Declan Austin is now lapped down. Oh, Alfonso too grabs too much grass. Oh, sideways. That'll give Rafalo a bit more breathing space. Alfonso was closing the gap. We'll give Meredith a bit of encouragement as well, as he's just sticking with Alfonso. We now jump on board with Meredith. Gaps seem to have stabilised between our top three now. stay with this battle for a little bit. So they're now coming up onto the back of Declan Austin. So Austin having an early pit. So this will be the first test of our lap traffic. Of course, our GT3 drivers, they do not just have to jump out of the way. It is up to the GT500 drivers to lap the GT3 cars cleanly. See the load of that front left wheel around turn number 3. Oh, big twitch from Rafalo as he gets on the power. In fact, Declan Austin just, he wants nothing to do with this GT500 pack. Getting right out of the way of Chris Rafalo. Wait and see. Fonzo puts it up the inside. Austin gives him plenty of room. Oh, Austin on the AstroTurf. Oh no, has Austin spun? He has. So Declan Austin, he's lost it at coming out of the final corner. Hopefully for Mackenzie. Oh, Mackenzie far enough back at the moment. Just going to quickly check back on this battle for GT3 honours. Matt Southwell still just holding on to Steve Duro. Gap just over 2 seconds now. Jump on board with him now. He gets a bad run out of the final corner. That'll help Duro. The speed of this Bentley down the straight should have him hauling in that Viper. Just see that ReadyX is also sticking with Southwell. In fact, both Southwell and ReadyX have just set faster lap times than Steve Duro, our leader in GT3. But these guys are going to be running into lap traffic soon with the GT500 guys coming up on them. I'll just check where our leader in GT500 is. It's just coming down the main straight now, so there's still plenty of time for our GT3 guys. As you can see, the gap is down already. So Southwell has almost torn a second out of Duro's lead. So I think Declan Austin, oh, he's had another lose under power. So hopefully for Declan, he'll keeps at it because he's definitely got the pace to run with some of the best drivers in Go Race promotions. In fact, he's going back to pit lane. So I think this is going to turn into a bit of a test session for Declan. Huge shame for him. Not the way you want to start a season, start a league. But here's the battle in GT3. Oh, jeez, don't the Viper and the Bentley sound awesome? Southwell angling it in. He closes up. He will probably lose a little bit of time. In fact, he does lose 7/10 on the exit of turn number 1. For Duro, this is just going to be about sticking to his rhythm. For Southwell, he also has to stick to a rhythm too. Just let his pace catch up to the Viper ahead. ReadyX, he's just dropped off the back of Southwell's Bentley. just jump on board with Ready X now. Once again, similar story for Ready X. He's just got to remember to keep some discipline about him. Just stick to a rhythm, not push too hard, and try to make as few little mistakes as humanly possible. A little bit of oversteer, typical of Porsche. Now here's the story. The GT500s are coming, led by Chris Rafalo in the number 20 Pennzoil GTR. Oh, has someone binned it? No. Thought someone binned it. Meredith just coming up onto the back of Declan again. So the gap has stabilised between Alfonso and Rafalo as they streak down the main straight. So Rafalo sets another speedy lap at 32.8. He's settled into his rhythm. 32.9 for Alfonso. Meredith at 33.2. So Meredith is up there. He's got a good race setup, I would say. A gap between... Oh no, Rafalo's off the track. So Rafalo's made the first mistake. Maybe just pushing that left front too hard. Oh, big slide again. So this is just going to give Alfonso a chance to get onto the back of him. As we look out the front of Alfonso's car, see that gap, it's down to 1.5 after being up as high as 3 seconds. Haven't even got into the double figures for our laps. This race already full of a bit of drama. You see that Southwell's just getting the gap down ever so slightly to Duro. Oh, big slide for Alfonso. So here's our leading pair. Overall and in GT500, it's Chris Rafalo out in front ahead of Alfonso. Better known as Dietmar Rath from AK Racing's British Touring Car Championship. And he had a great night last night. Rafalo, I think Alfonso had a bad exit out of turn number 1. Just see that Rafalo is just stretching the gap to Alfonso now. Back up to 3 seconds now in one sector alone. Mackenzie sets his fastest lap of the race at 33.9. And they're now just coming up. They're starting to come up on lap traffic now in GT3s. That's Justin Ready X. We could just hear the Porsche just darting out of camera. But this is big as well. The gap between Duro and Southwell. Unfortunately, that camera angle is probably not going to work, so we're going to swap to Southwell. See that the gap is coming down quickly. It's now just over a second, so Southwell is now putting the pressure on. He's 5/10 faster than Duro. Some of you out there might be thinking that perhaps we've jumped the gun with Southwell. But, oh no, Mackenzie's off the track somewhere. And that looks like the final sector. So here comes Rafalo. He's coming up onto the back of Ready X. Ready X giving plenty of room and wants nothing to do with the battle for the lead in GT 500. just swap back to this battle for GT3. This might help one of these two drivers unless, oh, Jura, big slide. So that Viper really is hurting its rear tyres as we see Mackenzie into the pit lane. And into the final corner. Just see that Southwell seems to carry the bit more mid-corner pace and doesn't need to run as wide as Duro looks to faint for the pit lane. Maybe just trying to break the toe for Southwell behind in the big Bentley. There's not much car for Southwell to tuck in behind. Oh no, Mackenzie coming out just in between of this battle for the lead of GT300, or GT3, sorry. And Mackenzie is on stone cold tyres now. So here comes Rafalo trying to pick his way through this. So Southwell, he's in an awkward position because he wants to catch. In fact, Rafalo goes too deep. Tries to rush a little bit too much. That'll give Alfonso a bit of a chance to close the gap. Oh no, Southwell, I think he's just been given a bit of a nudge by Mackenzie. So that has cost Southwell a bit. Choosing to fight when he probably could have just given a bit of space to Mackenzie. And again, Mackenzie into the back of Southwell. That is... I have a feeling maybe Mackenzie having some braking problems. But that has really done a number on Southwell's race. It's dropped 4 seconds to Steve Duro. And for Duro, the lap traffic came at the right time, I think. As we have our first DNF for the night, unfortunately, Declan Austin just not able to keep the car going. I tell you what, that battling might have just brought Justin Rediex back into the battle. He's just got Mackenzie coming up behind him. So he does let Mackenzie through easily. Just wait and see if Rafalo can stretch that gap out again. Does seem to get good drive out of that turn number 4. And that does give him a little bit of space between himself and Alfonso. Oh, he runs it in so deep into the bus stop though. Oh, big twitch from Rafalo. This is giving Alfonso a chance to close the gap. I wonder if Rafalo's taken too much out of the tyres. And this is just helping Alfonso back into the race. Alfonso just doing maybe a little bit better job of just managing his tyres. Oh, we see the straight line speed of that GTR. Maybe Rafalo running lower downforce. Got 23 laps left in the pit window. Oh, Alfonso runs it deep and gets it all wrong for turn number 3. So Alfonso losing time now to Rafalo, and that is the end of that. He's going to have to wait for those tyres to clean up. Still time for Stroji to play a bit of a role in this race. Of course, we don't know what the condition is like for Rafalo's tyres. Oh, maybe we don't know what the condition is of Alfonso's tyres either. He's just struggling to get the drive down out of these slower corners. Just see all these twitches from the Honda. Mackenzie again. So very easy to do this in the GT500s. They are very, very touchy on the throttle. In fact, I attempted to do a couple of laps in GT500 and I just could not even string a lap together. So these guys out there having a fair dig at it. I'll still take my hat off to you. No, I'm not wearing a hat. It is not easy to drive these cars, particularly for 175k, which is what this race is basically run at. So also a big shout out to Joshua Hill, newest member in our Discord. Hopefully we see Joshy out on track at round number 2, which will be at Albert Park next week. If you are interested, put up our Discord in chat as well right there. So make sure you jump on, join our Discord. We are open to Australian and New Zealand residents. We have got a fairly open and welcoming community of sim racers. Just see maybe Duro, again, Duro taking that odd line down the main straight. Maybe just trying to psych Southwell out into going into the pit lane. Oh, Southwell definitely has got pace to burn. 2 seconds, oh sorry, 1.5 seconds faster than Duro that lap. So he does let Mackenzie through down the straight. Now Duro, fortunately he's going to get the GT500 traffic in the technical area of this track. Around turn number 3. Gives Mackenzie plenty of room. Mackenzie returns the favour as well into turn number 4. So this battle is just starting to heat up now again. Southwell down to a second behind Duro. So this Bentley is really hooked up for Matt Southwell. In fact, we're going to jump on board with Southwell. So he's closing the gap to Duro. Comes into the final sector. Geez, that Viper's not quite handling the way Duro wants it to. Certainly used to seeing Duro running around with long-nosed cars. Of course, he ran in the Mercedes. So the GT500 of Mackenzie again getting involved in this battle. And here comes Southwell. They come down the straight. Duro moving to the right-hand side to cover. But the straight line speed of that Bentley. Duro, his pace is right down. Maybe just getting put off by the GT500. So again, these two are racing side by side. Southwell all over the back of the Viper. Just think that a bit of ascent is coming. And not this lap into turn number 4. Duro, big mid-corner slide. It's under a lot of pressure now from Matt Southwell. So Southwell in the number 63 Bentley. Headlights ablaze. Oh, I thought he was going to go for a send there. He's pulled out of it. So our pro driver is really being kept honest by our silver driver. Oh, thought Southwell was going for a send. Maybe thought he maybe missed the brake pedal there. But he just closes right up. Just the difference in lines between these two cars. So here we go. Southwell going for the drive down the main straight. Can the Viper hold on? Does have a fair bit of straight line punch, this Viper. Even with the slipstream. Well, not much of a slipstream if you compare it. Look at it. The Boatley right towering over the top of the Viper down the main straight. So there's not much of a slipstream for Southwell to use. He certainly has it under brakes with the Boatley. They make their way through turn number 2 once again. Oh, Southwell misses the apex slightly. Know that Southwell, a very experienced driver. He's run at state championships in karting. Runs in the cheap car challenge, and he is hunting. Looking to the left-hand side. He's going to be on the wrong side of the track, coming to the bus stop. He's going to try and force the track position on Duro. This fighting it might bring ReadyX back into it. 9 seconds the gap, but it's coming down. It's now under 9 seconds. Oh no, Southwell! Matty! Oh, he was doing so well. Now he's got to do all the work again. 2 seconds. He's lost 2 seconds to Duro. The big winner is ReadyX. He's picked up 3 seconds in that last sector. No, Justin's binned it. No! No one wants to win this race in GT3. You're still waiting for pit stops to start cycling through. Might see ReadyX dive for the pit lane this lap. He thinks about it. He's going for it. Maybe. Yes, he is. So ReadyX diving for the pit lane. Classic Southwell. Phoenix 500. Mate, why aren't you racing? You should be in this, mate. You'd be having a ball. There comes Chris Rafale. He's going to tick off another lap. We've just reached half race. Well, I've just gone past half race distance. Got a little bit of a gap. And a shout out to Buller for joining our Discord. Welcome to the Go Race Promotions Simsports family. Hope you enjoy the racing. Hope you get involved in the Super GT Championship as well, mate. Great to see more drivers signing up. Of course, we have got a little bit more coming your way in the coming weeks. Of course, we have, I think it's 3 more rounds of Super GT. Let me have a look at the calendar. So we do have 3 more weeks of Super GT. Then, if you look in our Discord, we have a little thing called TCX 300. Now, if you are new to the Go Race Promotions Simsports or Go Race Promotions Twitch or anything to do with Go Race Promotions, we have come up. Well, we were recently inspired by a Facebook post from a group that I happen to be a member of on Facebook. As we see Rafalo diving for the pit lane now. As Stuart in the chat, you should be focusing on the racing, mate. Anyway, so we were recently inspired by a post on Facebook in a group that I happen to be a member of. Wait and see what Alfonso does. No, he's going to do another lap. And basically, we came up with TCX 300, which is going to combine GT3, V8 supercars, and TCR all on the track, all at the same time, racing for 300 kilometres around some of the best tracks we can find in sim racing. I believe one of the tracks we're looking at is Trial Mountain from Gran Turismo. We're looking at Circuit Algarve. Maybe do a race at Bathurst. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how everyone behaves. Our steward currently is very happy with how these drivers are behaving, which is good to see. And in fact, well, this battle once again is hotting up again. So Southwell, he has got pace to burn in this Bentley. See, the headlights are ablaze for the Bentley, and here comes into the pits goes Steve Giro. So he's had enough of these tyres. And that will hand the race lead finally to Matt Southwell. Obviously not the way he wants to lead, although he will go for the overcut in the number 63 Bentley. So, yeah, make sure you hit up our Discord. Join if you haven't already. Get involved in the Super GT. Get involved in TCX 300. That is going to be a massive event. Best thing is about TCX 300 is that it's not a championship. It's just single events. So if you can't make one, it's not a huge issue. You're not out. You can sit out one race. You can come in for another race. So you're not obliged to race every single round. So we're very excited to get that running. We're very excited about this Super GT race tonight. Getting back on topic. As we wait to see what... Oh, Fonzo's actually come into the pits. So... he will be on cold tyres unless he binned it really horribly. Meredith as well has also pitted, so all of our drivers have ticked off their compulsory pit stop. They haven't really focused much on Meredith. He's having a very lonely drive at the moment in the number 337 GTR. It's good to see that Jack is out there and having a go. And he's actually setting some pretty consistent lap times, and I think he might even be starting to chip away at the advantage of Alfonso ahead of him. Actually, we're still waiting on Matt Southwell to come in and do his pit stop, so I've made a mistake there. Not much of a commentator sometimes, but oh well. It's kind of hard to analyse a race and talk at the same time. I can't multitask, I am a man. So, still waiting on Southwell. He's going the very long game. Are we going to see a pit stop now for Southwell? I think he's starting to lose a little bit of time to Duro. So those tyres on the Bentley are starting to hurt. He's got to start thinking about diving into pit lane right now. Jack McKenzie going for a double stop strategy. He's back in pit lane, and as if Southwell's maybe listening to the stream. He's taken my advice and he's gone straight for the pit lane. Oh, that was maybe a little bit aggressive into the pit lane. So now we'll wait to see where Duro is. He's just coming through the final sector now. Looks like he's picked up a little bit of damage on the side of the Viper. He's just been lapped by Chris Rafalo in the number 20 GT500 GTR. Is Southwell think Southwell is back on track. So Southwell has made an overcut. But he's on cold tyres. He runs it in too deep at turn number 1. This will give Duro the chance to close down on him. And to add to Southwell's worries, he's got Chris Rafalo coming, ranging up onto the back of him. So while Southwell is still on cold tyres, Duro is going to be making up plenty of time. He's on nice warm tyres. But he also has Alfonso closing in on him. Oh no, he's looped it. Oh, Alfonso's done a brilliant job avoiding it. Oh, Duro will be filthy with himself. Oh, Duro can actually blame the paint job. It's my fault he's not in his right livery. Just saw he got a little bit too aggressive over the curb, maybe a little too aggressive on the throttle, and that spat the Viper into a massive tank slap. Alfonso did very well to avoid in the Honda. Continue to watch Alfonso as he takes a nice sweeping line through the final corner. We're going to jump on board with Alfonso now. Chris Rafalo sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:30.7. I think that's as fast as his qualifying time, actually. It's second faster than Alfonso. Alfonso had to do a bit of grass cutting to try and avoid a sliding Viper. Now he's coming up onto the back of the Boatley. Sweeps around the outside. Have a car off. That looks like Mackenzie again. Oh, he's looped it in the final sector. Mackenzie having a bit of a nightmare round. He'll be wanting to forget this. Be wanting to leave Fuji Speedway as soon as humanly possible. Still got just over 14 laps left to run. I think this has turned into a bit of a practice session for Mackenzie. Just try to chip away and get a little bit smoother and a little bit nicer on the throttle. Yeah, it's just like in real life, he's doing the Super GT weave down the straight. Good to see these guys are getting right into the role playing of Super GT drivers. So we now swap to Jack Meredith. He's doing a rather good job of keeping his car clean. That certainly minimalist livery, just carbon fibre. So he's just hear the rumble of that Bentley V8 ahead. So Southwell is doing a brilliant job at the front of GT3. Meredith just, he's not losing too much time to Alfonso. He's not gaining any time. He's just being very consistent, just consolidating his position. He's doing a very good job, I have to say. So now right on board with Meredith, a big slide under power as he's gone straight ahead for some reason. Feeling that might be a ping issue, perhaps, I hope. It's just run wide for some reason. maybe sporting a little bit of damage, or maybe just starting to get a little bit tired. These cars are a bit of a handful sometimes. In fact, you can just see the steering wheel vibrating down the straight. Almost have to fight them just in a straight line. There's Liam TW12. Thank you for the follow, mate. Much appreciated. Every follow means a lot to us here. Right now, Meredith made a bit of a blue in that final sector. And he's made a bit of a meal of it through the middle of this lap, so he's not going to close up on the back of Alfonso anytime soon. Steve Duro. He's just, looks like as if he's just consolidating that second position in GT3. He'll be taking 20 kilos of ballast at the next round. If he finishes in second, I should add. Now running Success Ballast. A recap of the point system. Of course, we're using the same points for basically what we ran in our previous league, the GT3s. So let's bring it up. So for qualifying, it is 10 points for first position. Second gets 5 points. Third is 3 points. Fourth is 2. And fifth gets 1 point. Well, during the race, the top 5, well, they all get Success Ballast. So for first place, it's 25 points and 25 kilos for your troubles. Second place is 20 points and 20 kilos for your trouble. Third place is 16 plus 16 kilos. Fourth is 13 points plus 13 kilos. And fifth is 11 points and 11 kilos. Then from 6th down to 15th, we go from 10 down to 1 point in 15th position. So basically a kilo for every point you get if you're in the top 5. So that means every driver will be getting Success Ballast for round number 2 next week at Albert Park. So that'll be sure to keep the racing interesting. And we are still accepting entries for Super GT, so make sure you get onto our Discord and get entering in for the remaining rounds of Super GT. There is our Discord in chat right there. Get out there and give these guys a good bit of competition. We are open to Australian and New Zealand residents, so if you are from the great land down under and our little cousin, or, well, I don't know what we actually call our Kiwis, our Kiwi cousins, there you go. And get amongst it, have a bit of fun. Get involved in Super GT, have a look at our TCX 300 events. First one will be coming up next month in November. Very much looking forward to the start of that one. If you've just joined the stream and you have no idea what I'm talking about, TCX 300, new project from us. They're single events, they're 300k races. We're combining TCR, GT3 and V8 Supercar all on track racing in their own classes. And it's just going to be absolutely nuts. We got a lot of interest with that announcement. I believe it was 2 weeks ago when we made the announcement of the TCX 300, and certainly it just absolutely grew the community on the Discord. Certainly a lot of people very excited for TCX 300. We certainly had a lot of people excited for Super GT. We're looking at it well, we did have 8. I have a feeling someone ran into a little bit of trouble. Certainly someone had wheel dramas. We also have a post-race investigation for car 111 and car 63. So that will be Mackenzie and Southwell. That will no doubt be the contact that we saw in the bus stop. So have a feeling that one or two drivers might be getting a big slap on the wrist and maybe a nice pink slip coming their way. Never know what will happen. Of course, our steward working very hard tonight. Currently sitting in chat as well, so he's engaging the community, engaging you on the stream and managing this race. The guys seem to have made it very easy for him. Nice big gaps between our drivers, though it was tightening up very not much between the GT3 drivers. In fact, qualifying was just something incredible. In GT3, the top three separated by less than 0.2 of a second. So that is just how competitive it is. Southwell currently leading this race. He started off third position. Declan Austin had a brilliant start, amazing start for Declan, starting off the very back, and managed to work his way around the outside into turn number 1 and take an early lead, but then was having a bit of trouble getting the drive down in the final sector and looped it, and then it just all went downhill for Declan. I certainly hope he sticks with us and keeps on practicing and keeps on improving. Let's have a look at our leader for this race. The laps are ticking down for Chris Rafalo, and he's still driving on the absolute ragged edge. And we're going to ride on board with him for a lap. Turn up your volume if you haven't already. We're going to take a couple of laps, well, at least a couple of Ks with this man. So Rafalo really has been in a league of his own ever since joining the league of Go Race Promotions and AK Gaming. Saw him last night in the British Touring Cars, and really was putting on a great show there as well, along with Alfonso. But anyway, let's take a nice quiet lap, turn up the volume, and enjoy. There you go, master at work in the GT 500s as he's coming up onto the back of Steve Duro in the Viper. See ReadyX now, he's into the 140s. Oh, Duro very wide there. He almost needs, it's our favourite saying, he needs his pass to get back into the circuit. That's how wide he was. He'll have rubbish all over those tyres. That's going to cost him a lot of time. Don't think he was really going to catch up to Southwell. Southwell's just been absolutely unstoppable in this Bentley. only made the decision to run the Bentley about a day and a half ago. So he hasn't really had any time to test with this car and set it up. But well, he's certainly done a great job so far. Currently leading the way in that fantastic sounding Bentley. Of course, I'm sure some people out there are wondering why Matt Southwell is a silver driver. Well, we put Matt Southwell in silver simply because he just doesn't have the same amount of time to do the testing that a lot of the pro drivers do get. He also doesn't really know what he's doing with setup, if you can believe that. But, well, he's jumped into the Bentley, and it's absolutely on rails for him. A little slide there. But, geez, Southwell has been doing well. Oh, almost forgot, a big bonus. Joining our Discord, our server, practice server for each race is open to every single one of our members. So if you just want to dip your toe in and see what it's like racing with Go Race Promotions, you can do that any night of the week and organise a race night with everyone. And if you want to race in these leagues, you have to register for the league. Otherwise, it's there's no way. So we see Rafalo round onto the start-finish straight. Tick off another lap. Just been Mr. Consistent all race long. 1:31 for Rafalo. He's well and truly set himself up into a rhythm in the GTR. In case you missed it in the Discord chat, no, sorry, in the Twitch chat, there is our Discord right there. If you are from Australia and New Zealand and you love your sim racing, get amongst it. You have a pretty good community and it is growing every single day. Now quickly look at Alfonso here in the Honda. I think Alfonso really managed to get an entry sorted out in time for this round. That's why he's a little bit behind Rafalo this round. So it would be great to see Alexis make an appearance in the GT500s. We have a full list of cars that you can use in this championship on the Discord as well, so make sure you join up with the Discord if you are from Australia or New Zealand. Have a look at what cars you can run and give it a go. We look out the back of Alfonso's car. It's just dropped into the 33s. I think this is Alfonso waving the white flag. He's not going to catch Rafalo, but he is going to pick up a good haul of points. In fact, Juro down the 43s as well, so he's waving the white flag as well. But ReadyX is actually really closed down onto the back of Juro. I haven't really focused much on ReadyX. He's been doing a great job. In his first round of Super GT. Because we saw ReadyX running around in the Ferrari in our GT3 league a few months ago. Running around in a Ferrari in that league, but this time he's running the Porsche. I guess he likes the feeling of almost dying every single every single race, every single corner. But right now the Porsche's working out for ReadyX. Started on the front row in GT3. And he's managed to keep the car mostly pointing in the same direction. In fact, he's actually closing the gap slightly to the back of Steve Duro's Viper. I have a feeling that at the end of this race I might be getting a message from Duro that he wants his Mercedes back. Start getting ready to wind down this race. Keeping an eye on ReadyX and the gap between himself and Duro. Porsche just seems to be working really nicely. Seems to be doing everything that Justin wants it to do, which is exactly what any race car driver wants. Whether that's real life or sim. Now the pit window is, well, now closed, but thankfully all of our drivers have made their pit stop. We're going to have a look at our leader, Chris Ruffalo. He's done a fantastic job, a league of his own. Absolutely needs someone to take it up to him. And that could be you. Just has a very aggressive driving style. Of course, Ruffalo, very experienced drifter. We bring up our Discord and have a look at our commentator content. He's done a lot of real life drifting, but this is his first year of racing competitive leagues. I mean, not that you'd be able to tell that. He's just been such a great competitor, super consistent, got lots of pace on him, knows how to set the cars up. So he now gets set to start the final lap of the first round of Super GT. Fowler was one of the most excited drivers when we announced that we were running a Super GT championship. Loves watching Super GT on YouTube with the race. And I have to say, if you haven't heard of Super GT, definitely head onto YouTube and look it up. It is fantastic racing. Very entertaining from start to finish. Just see that once again, Ruffalo so super smooth. Just talking to him about his driving style, he really puts in so much effort to make sure that he's so consistent and super smooth with where he picks up the throttle, where he picks up the brake, how he turns in, how he changes direction. Gives us a little flick of the tail there. Oh, that's the camera angle I wanted. There we go. So he starts getting ready to round the final corner. So those of you in chat, put something up. Put anything up in chat, because Chris Ruffalo has done an absolutely sterling job in the first round of Super GT. He'll cross the line, the winner of GT 500. Well done to Chris Ruffalo. He's got 21 seconds between himself and Alfonso. He's rounding the final corner now. It was a great fight from Alfonso at the start of the race. But he'll have to settle for second position. He'll go back to the drawing board and try and find something. But meanwhile, Matt Southwell he'll be absolutely ecstatic at home. Now he takes the checkered flag for GT3. Well done, Matt Southwell. So we wait now for... Well, we're going to wait for Steve Duro. He's the next car to cross the line. He'll be happy with second, but he'll be disappointed that it wasn't first. And again, he'll take the points. Just make sure that he can rack them up for the rest of this 7-round championship. Just behind him, Justin Rediex. He'll come home third. He'll be able to go to bed tonight knowing that he matched it with Duro and Southwell. And here comes Meredith. Jack Meredith will take home third in GT 500. Oh, well done to all our drivers, because I think we have a bit of a burnout festival going on here. There we go. Look at this. Light them up, guys. There we go. All right, that'll look good. Let's go back to the pits and have a look at the results. So Chris Rafalo, your winner of tonight's first round of Super GT. We have Alfonso in second place and Jack Meredith rounding out the podium, while Ben McKenzie finishes a lap down after a bit of a difficult race, trying to come to grips with these difficult cars to drive. We'll move on to GT3. Matt Southwell, he'll be absolutely excited at home. I think his neighbours will be wondering what's going on. Steve Duro in second place and Justin Rediex rounding out the field in third for GT3. So well done to all our drivers. Congratulations to our winners. Congratulations to everyone who managed to make it to the end of that race. That was something very special. We cannot wait for round number 2, and we cannot wait for more of you to jump in and join the Super GT field. And in case you have missed it, once again, there is our Discord. Make sure you jump in if you are an Australian citizen or New Zealand citizen. And come and join the action. We've, of course, got a lot more happening with, of course, the very much anticipated TCX 300 events that are set to start taking place next month. So make sure you join our Discord and get involved there. And anyway, we have got a stream on Sunday night with AK Gaming's ACC Endurance Championship. So make sure you hit the follow, hit the notification button. Very much appreciated every time we get a follow. Maybe hit us with a subscription if you're happy enough with how we're doing things. But if you are in fact on our Discord as well, make sure you keep an eye out for our Wreckfest tonight, night, which will be happening tomorrow night. Everyone on the Go Race Promotions Discord will be welcome. We'll be putting up the password there. If you want to have the opportunity to bin me or bin a couple other people, make sure you're online tomorrow night for Wreckfest. But anyway, we are going to wrap up this stream. Thank you very much for joining us at home. Hope you've enjoyed the racing. I certainly have. It was very much non-stop excitement, particularly at the start of the race. Drive of the race for me. Well, actually, I'll hand it over to you in chat. Give me your driver of the race. For me, I'm going to have to go... Yeah, I'll give it to Matt Southwell. Some people will call me biased, but that guy's had a very difficult run in sim racing lately. And for him to bounce back in a new car, only just put that entry together in time for round number 1, and for him to come home in first place in GT3, beating the likes of Steve Duro, that is an accomplishment. So driver of the race for Matt Southwell there. But definitely in chat, throw it out to me. Who is your driver of the race? Of course, you can't go past Chris Rafalo. He's an absolute monster behind the wheel. But, yeah, for me, definitely Matt Southwell as our driver of the race. Oof. I just need to catch my breath. Anyway, we're going to wrap up this stream here. Make sure, like I said, hit the follow, hit the notification button. If you're joining us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and we will see you at the next stream and the next event. So until then, from all of us at the team at Go Race Promotions, we'll see you next time.